Hi, my name is Katie Caselli. Have you ever wanted to have a hobby that was absolutely unique, special, and fabulous? Well, to me, that's what stained glass is. I've been making stained glass windows for nearly 20 years, and I'm an instructional designer and certified trainer. I have made dozens of leaded glass panels, and also many projects in the copper foil method, including 2 lamps. I have so enjoyed this hobby, and I have such passion for it that I want to share it with you. After this course, you will be able to construct windows with increasing size and complexity. You may even want to try your own built-in window. Stained glass really is unique. How many people do you know who can make their own stained glass windows for gifts or for decorating? By the end of this class, you'll have the basic skills to be able to even sell your work on Etsy or eBay, or even in community craft fairs. You are invited to choose a simple pattern and construct a first project, so that by the end of this course, you will have gained skills in glass cutting, building a window, soldering it together, and lots of other skills in order to get you to create your own unique project. I'll be with you every step of the way. This class is for any person looking for new hobbies. Teens and adults with a little bit of time on their hand and an interest in crafts will come to see this as a skill set they are lucky to have. So come join me.
So, a little bit about the history of stained glass. Stained glass is an art form that was incorporated into architectural design and it started in the medieval times. So approximately 1,000 years ago, people started working with stained glass. Fortunately, I was able to have a trip for business purposes to a factory in France, and it happened to be in the same town as one of the most famous stained glass cathedrals. It's called the Cathedral de Notre Dame in Chartres, France. And it is very, very famous. Many people go there just for pilgrimages or to go see the stained glass. And I happened to speak enough French to convince the taxi driver to take me there after my tour of the factory. So I was able to go inside, take some pictures, and I'll share some with you. Very, very famous cathedral, and largely these 1,000-year-old windows are still intact. So also an interesting fact about the cathedral, in France, when the Germans were about to invade, the people of the town banded together and took the windows out and hid them. And so the stained glass windows of Chartres are still intact. They were re-leaded before they were put back in place in 1945. So a little bit about how stained glass is made. Of course, the factories where they made stained glass had to be close to a good source of pure silica. In the melting process, they would add mineral salts to cause the color changes. So, for example, the yellow glass would have silver added, okay? You might pay a little bit more when you're buying yellow glass. For the green, they would add iron oxides in varying concentrations. Now the blue, this is a really nice textured blue, they would add cobalt mineral salts to get that color. They will add gold to get this bright red. In small concentrations, but yes, they are adding gold. Sometimes cobalt or concentrations of copper will get some close to red too, but for a ruby red, you're actually spending a bit more because of the small amounts of gold. You also may pay a little bit more for pink because you are paying for the selenium added to the glass. Okay, for your inspiration, I wanted to show a few of the projects I've done. It's a simple pattern of a woman looking forward under her umbrella and a tree, and hope you can see it's got lots of different textures of glass in it. It's got the swirliness in her dress, it's got the little bubble raindrops on her umbrella, and it's got the texture of the tree bark and the texture of the leaves, and then the outside border. So I think it's a great piece. It's one of the biggest I've done. Can't remember how many pieces are in it, but it is entirely done in leaded stained glass. And as you can see, the color of the lead is pretty uniform. It's been stained a bit so that the solder joints blend in well with the lead. I really do like that piece. Now you can choose a window for a specific window in your home, either designed to enhance the view or hide the view. My first 3 houses, I wanted to hide the view, so I made rather large windows. But in this house, A lot of my views are of the trees and grass, so I didn't want to hide it entirely in this window, and I wanted to be able to see the green, so I chose these transparent glass styles, which I like. Now this is one of my favorite projects. I would call this an intermediate project. It has 64 pieces. It is modeled after a quilt block pattern from the Amish. And some people say it's called Sparrows in Flight, others say it's Birds in Flight. Well, whatever it is, I was extremely happy with it. I loved finding that deep blue glass and that clear, precise white right on top of it. Just looked fabulous. I got the pattern from a quilt book. It was just the right amount of challenge. It was the first piece I did where I had access to a glass grinder, which made it nice and easy. I'm very proud of this work. So as I said, you might want a project that helps to hide the view or give you some privacy. This window was built for a specific craftsman style house from the 1920s, and the issue the owner had was with privacy. He didn't like it that anyone could walk up to his front door and just see nicely and clearly right into his home. So he wanted something that went with the period and also afforded him some privacy. Unfortunately, before he was able to install this window, he moved out of the house altogether, and so it ended up back in my hands. These are two stained glass lamps that I made. One of them, the smaller one, I made first. It wasn't too challenging. You could do it in panels. The other one was a little bit more challenging because it was made with a styrofoam form so that it would come out in that perfect shape it's in. I wanted to just show these off because of the distinction between lead work and copper foil work. These are copper foil projects, and what that means is every piece is wrapped in actual copper foil, and it's like a tape-like consistency, a very narrow piece of copper tape. You tack it down to the outer part of every single piece, and then you solder around the entire edge, joining each edge from one piece to another to another. This is different from lead work because with lead, you're just soldering where the lead comes together, just at the corners. Copper foil was popularized by Louis Tiffany in the 1900s, and it is some gorgeous work, but I'd say this is a bit more advanced. There probably will be a copper foil class out there on Udemy in the future, so go ahead and look for that. Hey, just want to show quickly a few projects that I've done. This one was intended to be an entire 9-piece quilt, but unfortunately one of my cats killed 3 panels and I lost heart over it, so I left it at 4.